Dude, I love being right about stuff. It's so good. Oh, that Dawko interview was amazing. And it was so good to hear the books be, like, properly acknowledged and have Sewell outright tell us that the story of Secret of the Mimic was being developed alongside the books, and that, you know, like their tweet said, we don't yet know the whole story. Now, I don't know about you, but I'll take that as a big nudge towards my theory about this game being right, and as a huge win for Tales games. But aside from getting the jangling keys that is Tales game acknowledgement, we did get a fair bit of other cool information from that interview. We got to learn roughly how big the MCM factory is, which is nice. It being around the size of Roxy Raceway sounds absolutely perfect for the scale of this game. It's plenty of space, but also small enough to make it both feel claustrophobic and prevent it from having the crazy scale issues that Security Breach suffered from. Oh yeah, and hearing that they're taking inspiration from Alien Isolation is so cool. And it makes me even more confident in this game being amazing than I already was. I am beyond down for 10 to 20 hours of just exploring this game and finding everything in it. However, the thing that really interested me about this interview isn't what was said, but rather what was shown. We got 2 brand new posters, and both of them revolve around our favorite little 70s Faz wrench, the Data Diver. Now, some might say we don't know nearly enough about the Data Diver to make a 10+ minute video about it. And who knows, they might be right. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. But I do think there is some interesting stuff to get into with it, so let's just data dive right in. So, in the trailer, we only got to see the Data Diver get used once, and it was to access a helper terminal where we got prompted to reset the welcome show. However, we do get a good look at the port for it, and we see that it also shows up on the computer terminal in the security office, and a look at the Steam screenshot confirms that it too is for the Data Diver via the text on the screen. Immediately, we see that this is some kind of special device to access the MCM terminals, basically a big blocky USB stick with computer passwords on it. However, we can also see that there's a bunch of weird symbols on the Data Diver screen, and that the helper terminal associates one of these symbols with some kind of executive access that we are missing. Now, at first, we didn't really have any idea what any of the other symbols meant until we got the posters revealed in the interview. Firstly, we see that the Data Diver functions as basically a multi-tool key for the various employees in the Costume Manor. Not only does it let them interface with their job-specific technology, but it also opens certain doors for them, likely explaining why we see so many of these big metal blast doors on the trailer and the Steam page, but I'll get back to those later. The second poster is what's really important, as it just flat out tells us what all the symbols on the Data Diver are for. So, based on this poster, it seems that the footage from the trailer might have been older beta footage from before they finalized the Data Diver UI. We see that the security logo seems to be represented by a shield, and that the final symbol is instead what is currently in the trailer used for repair. This is something we actually see in another part of the trailer, as the current security symbol is on the little panel right outside the security office. Notably, there's also what looks like a Wi-Fi symbol on the beta design, and the executive symbol is a star instead of the Monarch logo. The simplified version of the MCM logo. So from this poster, we see that the employees of Murray's Costume Manor are divided into 6 main categories: basic, security, repair, creator, admin, and executive. Basic is, of course, probably just the bare minimum access, probably for people working less specialized jobs or in the gift shop. Security is self-explanatory. If you've played FNAF or have had any experience in the real world, you know what security does. With repair, assuming that's what we're seeing in the trailer, it seems to be a mix of traditional machine repairs and also other forms of technical maintenance, like the resetting of the welcome show. Now, with the last 3, it gets a bit more interesting. Creator is likely for the jobs involving the actual manufacturing of the costumes, robots, cutouts, and other merchandise produced by MCM. I'm not fully sure what admin is, but my best guess is that it's for some kind of upper or middle management stuff. And executive is definitely for Edwin and any other high-up members of the Costume Manor's corporate ladder. It seems the Data Diver's function is to be basically a more thought-out and engaging version of Security Breach's security badges. On top of that, we see that Helper is on the Data Diver screen, so it's very possible that the Data Diver itself is either direct Fazbear Entertainment tech, or a collaboration between them and Murray's Costume Manor, explaining both why Helper would be there and evolve into Fazbear's mascot Helpy, and how the Data Diver would eventually turn into the Faz Wrench in the future. So we have the function of the Data Diver. Now let's talk about how I think it will impact the gameplay. As I mentioned, We see a data dive report on the terminal in the security office, but more importantly, we see a clock right next to it reading 12 a.m. Given we can't see any other really important items in this office, presumably the only way to make progress is by interfacing with the terminal, meaning that we will already have acquired the data diver by the start of 12 a.m. and likely also gotten security clearance. Given the clock is just at 12 and not 12:30 or anything else like that, I'd say this is a very strong indicator that the gameplay is going to start well before 12, similar to Security Breach. We will likely get our data diver at the game's equivalent of 11 p.m. Maybe we find a basic access data diver in the MCM shop or during our little tutorial chase with Jackie. Now, in the trailer footage of the security office, we can just barely make out this weird-looking machine to the right, and using the Steam screenshots, we can get a better look at it and see that it also has a data diver port with a variant of the MCM logo on the screen, as opposed to one of the specific job symbols. It's a bit of speculation, but my guess is that this is some kind of data diver upgrade station, as there seems to be some kind of window to look through, and potentially we will be putting our data diver in there. The way I think the scene might play out is this. We power up the door with a generator and enter the office, but when we try to use the terminal, we're locked out because we only are at basic clearance. We then turn to use this machine and upgrade our data diver, and this is basically our tutorial on how to get more access to parts of the facility. My guess is that each hour will see us try to acquire and master different parts of the data diver's jobs, potentially just in the order that it's displayed on the poster. As I said, I think that 11 p.m. will be where we get basic, then security at 12 a.m., so then, potentially each hour after, we will get a different upgrade. At 1 a.m., we might find an upgrade for repairs, and this could be the same hour where we deal with whatever resetting the welcome show does. So then at 2 a.m., we might end up with creator clearance and end up going through the areas from the Steam page where we see all these different mascot costumes on the shelves and in the assembly rooms. After that, I'm not really sure what admin access might entail, and honestly, we could end up going through 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., without any upgrade. But for sure, by the time of 5 a.m., I'm expecting we'll have gotten all the access and executive access, unless this game ends up going past 6 a.m. and into 7 a.m. like Security Breach did. But of course, the data diver isn't just some linear progression tool. Based on the interview, it seems Steel Wool is doing a bit of a blend of Ruin's direct linear storytelling and Security Breach's freedom of exploration and backtracking. Evan describes it as layers of gameplay. We can follow the top layer and just consume the direct path of the story, or we can go deeper and find more secrets through backtracking and exploring. Thanks to Welcome Show Terminal, we know that we have something locked behind executive access, meaning that by the time we get it, we should be able to go back and interact with that terminal once again. On top of that, remember those doors I'd said I'd come back to? Thanks to information we've gleaned from the PAX demo, we know that there are at least 2 of these locked blast doors in the manager's office segment. One of them can be opened with a generator, but another one that's in Jackie's storage area cannot. So what will likely happen is that we'll be able to retrace our path and use whatever clearance we've unlocked to find some secret path or shortcut or whatever else is hiding behind this door. From there, I'm sure there'll be plenty of other terminals and doors that we'll be able to go back to and either access or unlock, and this will probably give us a bunch of new lore or maybe some other collectible items. And yeah, that's basically everything I think is going on with the data diver. Carnival news tomorrow.